Well, hello there, and let me tell you that Windwalker is back. It's the best melee spec in 11.1, and this is after playing Enhancement. It is so good that choosing a main next patch instantly became harder for me. It received a new capstone, a major buff to hero talents, and now just deals some stupid amount of damage. So let me take you through the journey of Season 2 Windwalker. I know most people are interested in the damage of Windwalker, and you are right. I'm still a bit sad that over the last 2 expansions, Windwalkers have kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel until they gave up and became brewmasters when it came to the overall tuning. It never was really bad enough where you couldn't push content, but the difference between them and other DPS was night and day sometimes. You are right, Windwalkers should do more damage than they do now on live servers, and I think they do, at least compared to other DPS specs on the PTR. Now, of course, I want you to understand that this is PTR and I am a moron. Definitely not the best Windwalker out there. I mostly picked up a build and tried my best in with a key with little knowledge on how the hero talents change the playstyle. And with that knowledge, I have to say that I was pumping for a moron that presses buttons like it's 2018. I played both Shadowpan and Celestial Conduit and both slapped, both playing slightly different. Now I still have doubts Windwalkers can out-DPS Shamans, Warlocks, and maybe even Mages, at least at this point on the PTR. But now we are talking about playing close to perfection against players with a lot of experience, knowledge, and skill. For your everyday content, your weekly 10s, heroic raid re-clears, Windwalker will likely be a god, especially if you practice enough, because this shit's not easy to optimize. Is this enough for you to main Windwalker? I mean, it sure as hell feels enough for me, and I am looking to push 3k IO next season and likely cutting edge. I just cannot stop talking about Windwalker, so we hope you like this video because it wouldn't be possible to make without our Patreons. Usually class opinion videos like this one are a big hit or miss on YouTube, but we want to make more, so having the existence of our Patreons really helps. If you decide to support the Marcelian Online team, you can go to patreon.com/Marcelian_Online. The link is down below. And yes, if you have been following our streams, you may know that I have started on a journey to find the new main for Season 2, and until yesterday, well, yesterday as of recording this video, but maybe a week ago for you watching it, I thought I was dead set on either Enhancement or Elemental Shaman, but hopping on Windwalker and playing some new builds turned me 180 degrees in the other direction. So let me tell you why. First off, a minor change, but definitely helps, is the added visuals on Shadowpan for flurry strikes. I believe the sound effects might also be new because I haven't played Windwalker since beta and I cannot remember flurry strikes sounding like this. I have to mention that a bunch of things I will praise here might have been added in 11.07 and 11.05, but it doesn't really matter because in 11.1 it all comes full circle to make the spec an absolute blast to play. And the biggest thing that has been added is a new capstone down the Strike of the Windlord part of the talent tree, which is Slicing Winds. Those cultured among you will recognize this from Plunderstorm since it is exactly the same ability. It replaces Flying Serpent Kick with a charging ability that does the damage around you as you fly forward. The changes don't change the damage, just increases the range which you travel. If you haven't played Evoker or any other charged ability before, you can essentially press the ability as normal and let it go and it will do one level of the charge and it's full damage. This is if you were worried you would turn into a fell rushing demon hunter. Not even close. In single target, so long as you are in melee range, pressing it once is enough to trigger it and you travel like 3 to 4 steps in front of you. You still have to channel it for like a second or something. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you either need to traverse a large amount of ground because, I don't know, your target had to be moved and you couldn't follow, or if the tank pulled a whole bunch of mobs scattered all over the place, this will give you the power to actually aim and charge pretty much everything in your path and deal damage to them. There are three main reasons this new Windwalker ability is really cool. First off, the mobility and utility of it contribute to skill expression, where you just have more options to interact with the combat zone. Whether you need to cover ground, deal damage from afar, drop a puddle and go back in with a big hit, and many more, this ability opens up options to you based on your creativity. I honestly hope they do more abilities like this. The second would be the fact that it is a Plunderstorm ability. Now, your feelings towards Plunderstorm aside, the gameplay of it in terms of abilities, player feedback, skill expression, and combat is definitely the closest we can consider a WoW 2.0 combat to be. Plunderstorm has almost pure skill shot abilities, and Slicing Winds is one of them. Now, I also understand that WoW isn't a skill shot game, and it shouldn't be. However, mixing in one or two abilities will offer you gameplay variety, will actually upgrade the combat field to 2025, and it can be the start of something great. While we might not ever get WoW 2.0 the way most of us want, the consistent upgrade of the game, from visuals, art style, textures, general graphics, to the combat itself, Slicing Winds is definitely a step in that direction. And third, if you played Windwalker at any point in time, playing around your combo strikes passive, you might appreciate the addition of a new button that costs no resources, similar to Whirling Dragon Punch, which is the closest comparison you can have for Slicing Winds. If you like Dragon Punch, you will love this one. It fits in the rotation nicely, where it can either be a filler when you are out of energy or chi, or a burst damage enabler, which is actually more likely since it really does a lot of damage. Too much to not actually cast on cooldown. It has fewer synergies with the rest of your kit, which could be a downside to consider, but at least the DPS gain is real and you can feel it, something we cannot say about every ability in the game. And we can take this talking point into the next reason why Windwalker is an amazing melee next season, which is Conduit of the Celestials. And to be more precise, the reworked Heart of the Jade Serpent talent that could very well be the most interesting talent Windwalker has when it comes to gameplay interactions. On live, the effect of this talent activates upon consuming 45 chi, I believe, and then buffing Strike of the Windlord, which in Season 2 will just change to just work on every use of Strike of the Windlord, no chi requirement. By making it work with every Windlord cast, it will add to your rotation potential changes to maximize the cooldown reduction of your important abilities. At least on paper, this talent makes you want to put Rising Sun Kick, Fists of Fury, Whirling Dragon Punch, and Slicing Winds on cooldown before you press your Windlord, which also includes reducing its own cooldown. Now, prior to Slicing Winds being added, this of course affected Flying Serpent Kick, and seeing as how Slicing Winds replaces Flying Serpent Kick, it automatically benefits from it even if the tooltip doesn't show it right now. This creates a gameplay loop of getting all your cool abilities out just to pop Windlord and charge them back up again quicker. Fist of Fury being faster to channel during this 6-second buff is also really cool, especially because of the tier set. The tier set is largely passive, and I cannot see how it will impact your rotation directly, which is a con on this new design. I do agree. The tier set in general, especially the 2 set bonuses, are pretty boring for all classes this season, but at least they are consistent and likely easier to balance, so you won't have stupid outliers that just get, I don't know, double the power gain from it compared to other specs. That's not what the important part is, but rather the 4 set bonus that makes your Fists of Fury stronger once you remove your own winning streak, either through the RNG of the 2 set or by reaching 10 stacks with Fists of Fury. Either way, the nature of Windwalker makes casting your abilities on cooldown pretty much the right way to play at all times, so playing around the tier set is very unlikely, meaning knowing you have the tier set equipped will not make you want to press an ability more or less, but it will tell you that Fist of Fury is pretty big, and if you can cast it 50% faster with its cooldown ticking 75% faster during the 6 seconds after striking the Windlord, might make you want to make sure you can cast Fist of Fury right after Windlord. Maybe. Not sure if in practice this is a DPS gain, but in theory, at least, it sounds like you dip into all of the bonuses of Heart of the Jade Serpent, and channeling fists in half the time is already feeling so good that you have an extra ability to press and don't want to just waste time on one channel. Ordered Elements has also received a pretty big quality of life change, where now your cheat discount will just apply during Storm, Earth and Fire and not be tied to Rising Sun Kick. In single target, this will likely make no difference for you, but in AoE, it does scale down the importance of Rising Sun Kick outside enabling Whirling Dragon Punch. Considering you might be playing with the new Slicing Winds and Dancing Chi procs and cooldown reduction on all of your big abilities, forcing Sun Kick to keep up with a buff feels needlessly annoying. Just a small thing that maybe can make a big difference. Lastly, Last Emperor's Capacitor has been buffed to increase the damage of Crackling Jade Lightning by 400% from 200%, making it a more appealing choice for those of you embracing the dark side. The capstone, Power of the Thunder King, will make the lightning chain to 4 additional targets at 80% effectiveness, but that should be still more damage than what we have now on live, since, if my math serves correctly, stacking Crackling Jade Lightning 20 times for the buff makes it deal 4000% damage to the main target and 4000% to the rest, while the PTR version scales it to 8000% damage on the main target and 6400% on the other 4 targets. The Peak of Serenity Brains will likely do the math at one point, and if it turns out the damage gain is worth it, we can see some more builds prop up where we go old Palpatine style. Not sure what we will end up trading here, likely my new favorite capstone for it, but still, variety is the spice of life. Windwalker has indeed given Enhancement a run for its money when it comes to damage, fun, and dope gameplay design. And if you don't know what's going on with Enhance, you can check our video here where I go over the changes and buffs, and maybe you will understand why it is so hard to pick between these two.